Why have Germans and Austrians never heard of The Sound of Music? I answered that question in a YouTube video, summarizing all the different factors for this, including the things that locals who actually watched the movie criticized about it. And one of the biggest points were the historical and geographical inaccuracies. Like how at the end of the movie, the von Trapp family hikes from Salzburg, Austria, over the Alps into Switzerland to flee the Nazis. Except that Salzburg doesn't even border Switzerland. It's actually more than 200 miles away. And in reality, the mountain we see them crossing in this scene would have led them straight to Berchtesgaden, Germany, where Hitler had his infamous eagle's nest. It's fantasy based loosely on a true story. It's not a documentary. How thick do you have to be to not understand this? It's a fictional story, not a documentary. So it boils down to Germans don't understand movies. Got it. Okay, so first of all, as I explained in my YouTube video, this is just one of many factors that locals have brought up in the past when talking about this movie. And I don't think that Germans and Austrians generally don't understand how movies work and that most true story movies aren't 100% accurate. I don't think anyone expects that either. In fact, there were 2 German movies about the von Trapp family in the 1950s that were very popular actually, and they twisted the historical facts a lot too. But I think there are certain things that just throw you off as a viewer, where you were totally engaged in the storyline, and then suddenly there's something that's so unrealistic that it's just hard to actually take the movie seriously after that. Like in Gladiator II, when the sharks suddenly showed up in the Colosseum. I've heard that many people felt like that was so ridiculous that it undermined the whole rest of the plot. I personally wouldn't know, I haven't seen it. Or let's pretend there was a German-made movie set in New York City, and in the middle of it, the protagonists decide to drive over to LA for the afternoon, so they get in their car and arrive within a couple of hours. That would just be such a weird and unnecessary inaccuracy that I'd assume most people who are familiar with American geography would be thrown off by it. And obviously this is a made-up example, but that's kind of how a lot of the Germans and Austrians felt about this scene in The Sound of Music. It was just a tad too much for their taste.